And when I spoke out in the House of Commons in London about this, many of the members of Parliament smirked and jeered behind their hands because they were unwilling to believe that such terrible things could be happening. NSPCC, which is our National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, their inspectors that look after children at risk all over the country were reporting that throughout the United Kingdom they were finding evidence of satanic abuse. And so that really reaffirmed what I've been telling the House of Commons.
All Satanists have been abused as children. All. There is not, I can't imagine any normal person going into something so horrific, vile, disgusting, so violent, humiliating, could possibly, it's impossible.
Jim Phillips was a doctor of medicine with the police force before he opened his own private practice in Birmingham. Lately, he's more and more focused on victims of abuse in early childhood. He's achieved tremendous results with people who've been regarded hopeless cases within traditional psychotherapy. Perhaps he's most well known for his treatment of patients with multiple personality disorder.
As the children disclosed, I became more and more distressed at what they were telling me, and not a little frightened myself, in fact, because they were telling me things that you only saw in horror films and read in fictitious books.
And so a breakdown in communication, a breakdown in co-working happened in Nottinghamshire, and that became a cause which the nation began to take notice of.
That I had to do was sacrifice one of my own children. I'm trying. I was about 16, been going out with this girl that was involved in Satanism. She fell pregnant, and the same day that the child was born, I had to kill it.
A child, when it is first born, is innocent and pure. It's untouched, it's unspoiled. Nothing bad has ever entered that child. That child's thoughts are pure. So they sacrifice that to the devil as the child being pure. Because all things pure are feared by Satanists and also by the devil. So if you've got something pure and you destroy it, you take away the purity and there's no longer a threat there.
They really do think that if they can take away innocence and give it to Satan, that they're giving him the greatest gift of all. And so it has they do it for all kinds of reasons. The first reason is to dirty the child inside and out, and the second reason is to destroy the innocence.
Where is the proof? Where are the traces? Where are the bodies?
One former witch who revealed to me that she had actually been present while a child was sacrificed said they do it in a different way. Normally, the high priest has relationships with some of the witches in the coven, and they produce a child. And when that child is born, it's never registered as born, and therefore no one knows that child even came into the world. And I was told it was some of those children that were sacrificed.
I would be telephoned by someone to say, we've got a young woman who thinks she's had a baby but can't quite remember. Is this possible? Is it possible for things to happen to you that you've forgotten and you're beginning to remember? So I would say, it is possible, let's talk about it. And gradually the story would emerge of a young woman in her 20s who may have had anything up to 6 babies as a young woman between the ages of, or a young girl, between the ages of 11, 12, up to their early 20s, which were aborted and used for sacrifice in a variety of ways in covens.
The same thing happens in ritualistic abuse. Yes, you stood and watched that baby be sacrificed and you didn't do anything about it. You actually abused the person next door to you. You actually subjected them to all kinds of sexual perversions. You were involved in that particular sexual orgy that took place. You can't have been objected to it. You were part of it. So you can't get out of it because you're as guilty as...
Because the barristers representing the children said, if we fill the minds of the jury with all this mumbo-jumbo about Satanism, devil worship and black witchcraft, the members of the jury won't believe a word the child is saying. Indeed, some of them wouldn't wish to believe a word the child was saying, and the case would break down.
Some children claim that they have seen babies microwaved. In other words, put in a microwave oven, and they have said it then fizzled and whatever.
People have often said to me, you know, how do I know that children aren't lying? How do social workers and doctors and everybody? Well, a very low percentage of children lie about this particular kind of problem, or any kind of child sexual abuse. Sometimes because of their tender years, they don't even have the know-how to put this into words unless they've experienced it. And because you know the fear mechanisms around the child cannot be in any way done in any artificial way, that these children are genuinely, absolutely terrified. If you talk to them, and I have talked to witches, I have talked to people who have been still in, are really subconsciously quite frightened and fearful of what they're doing to their children, but they don't seem to be able to stop it. And I once had an experience where a black witch actually rang me up and said her son was about to attain the age of 7 years old and was to be initiated, and could I save her son?
Nurses, doctors, lawyers. There was judges that I'd been up in court in front of, involved, you know.
I have never yet met a happy Satanist. They are very unhappy people. They usually have drugs or drink problems. They wander the earth looking for some purpose in life and gaining nothing. And I have heard from other Satanists that quite a high proportion of them do kill themselves in the end. So I really cannot understand why anybody would get into such a destructive way of life.